Today on Investigate TV Plus, fire and failure.
It's getting harder and harder for them to see us. We're gonna have to stand out here and see.
Construction workers trapped in a burning building broadcast a desperate plea.
The last image I have of him was him basically begging for his life.
We investigate the massive construction fire that took the lives of 2 men and uncover the safety failures that prevented their rescue.
Plus, a child's loss.
My dad died of leukemia when I was 6 years old.
A young girl experienced a pain that's difficult for most adults to comprehend.
I didn't quite understand everything.
But she learned tools to help her cope with overwhelming emotions and gained wisdom beyond her years. We explore why children express grief differently and provide insight to help other children work through heartbreak.
And from patient to author, we receive life lessons from an inspiring 6-year-old girl.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Hot flames, suffocating smoke, and no way out. In May 2023, a massive fire at an apartment building under construction in Charlotte, North Carolina, killed 2 workers. Our investigation found safety failures at the site left them trapped inside as flames consume the structure. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. The deadly fire in Charlotte was just one of the more than 4,000 construction fires that take place any given year. Fire prevention experts say construction sites present unique fire risks due to the presence of flammable materials, temporary electrical systems, and ongoing hot work activities like welding.
But the fire safety experts we spoke to say all too often construction fires are preventable. Investigative reporter David Hodges exposes a chain reaction of mistakes that led to 2 deaths.
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency?
You can see how heavy this smoke
Charlotte Fire Department, what's
is.
the address of your emergency?
Charlotte Fire Department, what's the address of your emergency? Charlotte Fire Department, what is the address of
I
your
just got
emergency?
a public safety alert.
Charlotte Fire Department.
Do not call 911 unless you have an emergency.
Charlotte Fire Department, what is the address of your emergency?
It's at South Park Mall in Charlotte. I see a huge fire, black
Ma'am,
smoke.
we are on scene with a 4-alarm fire there.
Hey, we need to work on getting ladder 2 out.
Hundreds of videos, pictures, and records reviewed, analyzed, and deconstructed by our investigators. Piece them together and they tell the story of the South Park construction fire. What happened second by second, what went wrong, and what led to the deaths of Reuben Holmes and DeMonte Sherrill.
The building on fire, and I can't get out.
Firefighters could not reach them.
It's getting harder and harder for them to see us. We're gonna have to stand out here and see.
So Sherrill started broadcasting his calls for help on Facebook Live. Cheryl's live stream gave us a glimpse of the terror fire safety officials have been sounding the alarm on for years.
Saddens me, it disappoints me.
2 leading experts, Raymond Obraki and Joseph Cervantes, sat down with me to analyze what happened during the fire.
It is unfathomable.
And what failed to happen that could have made a difference. This TikTok video taken by a construction worker shows a spray foam insulation trailer engulfed in flames. Investigators confirmed this is where the deadly blaze started.
Yes, sir. It's a trailer that has some equipment on it. We've sprayed fire extinguishers, but it continues to burn, sir.
The flames were unstoppable by the time fire investigators say it was discovered at 8:55.
Anytime you have a running piece of equipment that's fuel fired, it has to be attended to, and it wasn't attended to by the construction site.
Sherrill and Holmes were on the south side of the 6th floor, directly above the trailer. They were nearly a football field length away from the only staircase in the building.
And believe it or not, that's all the code requires. And I think that's inadequate. It's probably one of the reasons the 2 construction workers couldn't get out.
Records show the first call to 911 came more than 7 minutes after the fire was discovered by the job site superintendent.
We got a fire.
And it is 9:02 before 911 is called. What's your reaction?
Too long. 7 minutes is way too long.
Absolutely, it's too long. I mean, these buildings can be fully involved within 10 minutes. The time was squandered.
We're evacuating the building.
In fact, the video shows the calls for evacuation didn't start until the end of the first 911 call.
We ran every floor yelling, fire, fire, fire.
In terms of an evacuation plan, is that adequate?
No.
Nobody's running. Nobody's acting with a sense of urgency.
There's so much wasted time here that it's really sad.
You see the first large group of workers start to evacuate nearly 10 minutes after the fire was first discovered.
The lack of urgency, I think, is just the most critical in this.
Builders are responsible for creating a culture of fire safety, and it really starts from the top down. The problem is that the builders aren't following the codes because they don't even know they exist.
You know, let's not lose sight of the fact that 2 human beings lost their lives.
The building on fire, I'm trapped inside, me and my man.
More than 500,000 people have watched DeMonte Sherrill's last moments.
It's getting harder and harder for them to see us.
Including his mom.
The last image I have of him was him basically begging for his life in the building. So that's really hard.
Onita Sherrill and Willie Mae Holmes wanted to share their pain so that they could tell you their sons didn't have to die.
Everything should have been checked out, that the people that was working up there had a way to get out from up there.
I mean, we have to take tests to get driver's license. So why not make sure all the safety precautions are there for things like this?
Videos of the fire are hard to watch for almost anyone.
Think about it.
Reuben Holmes' mom didn't need to watch a single second.
They tried to show it to me, but I didn't want to see it.
To know the safeguards her son and others relied on failed.
I think about how he must have felt, you know, in there, and he couldn't get out. He couldn't get out.
The families of Sherrill and Holmes have filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the general contractor, Mill Creek Residential Trust, and another subcontractor who was on site. Many of the allegations they make in that lawsuit mirror what we found in this investigation. While ultimately it's up to builders to ensure the code is being followed to make sure tragedies like this are prevented and don't happen, the experts I spoke to say it's also imperative that lawmakers and building code officials are updating the fire code in their states to the most recent standards, and that fire marshal offices across the country receive the proper support and structure so that when they decide to enforce the fire code, it's followed. Reporting in Charlotte, North Carolina, I'm David Hodges.
In January 2025, the state of North Carolina updated its fire code to specifically address large wood frame buildings like the one that caught fire in Charlotte.
One change requires an independent fire safety manager on site doing inspections daily. Another mandates the site turn in a fire prevention document to the local fire department that outlines items such as the number of exits in the building and how to warn people if a fire breaks out.
Still to come, the U.S. population is getting older and more seniors need help at home.
I think there's got to be some change with what the government supports in, say, home care.
We take you inside the life of a caregiver and hear from an advocate offering solutions to ease their burden.
But first, a child's life after a death.
And I know how to deal with the big emotions. And when it's appropriate, to really have big emotions.
A young girl reveals how she navigated her own grief, plus we provide resources to help you comfort a child dealing with loss.
When a child loses a treasured person in their life, psychologists say their grief may look different than an adult.
A child may express themselves through behaviors, not words. To help children work through a personal loss, the Dougie Center in Portland, Oregon provides them with what staff members call a safe haven, where grief is normal. Children are encouraged to talk and play with each other and share their experiences in the process.
One of those kids, a preteen girl who lost her father at a young age, found comfort and common ground when she went to the center.
Reporter Ezra Kaplan shows us how she now inspires other children and adults to find understanding after loss.
The first place I sat was right here, like on the first day that I came in.
At 11 years old, Lula Olivaria-Poor already has wisdom beyond her years.
I'm in middle school right now, so there's a lot of little dramas, and now that causes like a lot of big emotions, and I know how to deal with the big emotions. And when it's appropriate to really like have big emotions.
Emotions like sadness, joy, and grief.
Do you think that your experience with grief has changed as you've gotten older?
Of course. Back a few years ago, I didn't quite understand everything, and now I know that it's okay to process however I need to, and that my dad's dead, and that's okay because everyone's parents die at some point, and it just happened a little earlier for me.
Just sitting here, you met a friend almost immediately.
Yeah, she was sitting right there. My dad died of leukemia when I was 6 years old.
You miss him a lot.
Yeah.
Lula is one of the 6 million U.S. children who lose a parent or sibling before graduating from high school. That's 1 in every 18 kids. At the Dougy Center in Southeast Portland, these kids and their families are given space and support to process their grief.
It's just such an amazing place where I get to talk about anything I need to. Anything that involves grief, it's fine here. Like, it's just such a warm, welcoming place, especially for kids like me. Because at school, there's not a lot of people I can relate to, but here, everyone has gone through something similar, and I can just talk to them freely without like censoring what I say because they might not understand.
Have you been able to kind of pass on any of the experiences that you've had to other kids?
Of course, like younger kids, older kids even, who are really in the thick of it, like of grief. I've been able to like help them. I've been able to comfort them, and if they want to talk about it, we can talk about it, and I don't force them to talk about it. I love this little tree. You can put messages into the frog.
At the Dougy Center, a circular hallway connects playrooms, each designed for different age groups and different expressions. One room has musical instruments. Another has a child-sized theater. Then there's the volcano room, where it's safe to express more explosive feelings. When Lula first visited 5 years ago, she was drawn to the hospital room.
I remember being in this bed a lot because me and my friend always liked to, like, one of us was the patient, one of us was the doctor, because both of our dads were kind of like always in the hospital. So it's kind of comforting to be able to like have a safe space where it's okay to like, because hospitals are normal, but for us they weren't.
While the Dougy Center doesn't offer formal therapy, healing is baked into every inch of the space.
Do you think that the Dougy Center is going to keep playing a role in your life?
Of course. It's always going to play a role in my life in that it helped me get through something really, really extremely hard in my life.
A refuge for grief in Portland, living up to its mission of being the right place when nothing feels right.
When talking about grief and death or expressing condolences to a child, some may find it difficult to find the right words. Dougy Center Executive Director Brennan Wood says the most important thing you can do is talk openly and be there to listen.
It's okay to not know what to say, and it's also okay to say, I don't know what to say, but I love you and I'm here for you. People are different, and some kids and families are really gonna wanna talk about it. Some might not wanna talk about it as much. And so I'd say, especially when it comes to kids, follow their lead and also let them know that you are a safe person to come to when they do wanna talk about it.
You can contact the National Alliance for Children's Grief for resources and support near you. Just go to their website, nacg.org, for more information. Still ahead, in her own words, a little girl was inspired to write about her illness to raise awareness and provide comfort.
But first, a search for guidance.
What do you feel like you need?
You need a book that says, number one, do this, number two, do that.
We hear from a wife determined to keep her ailing husband at home for as long as possible and explore efforts to provide more relief to caregivers.
The time and responsibility caring for an ailing loved one can take an emotional and physical toll.
High levels of stress can lead to depression, fatigue, and even impact the caregiver's own physical health. Reporter Peter Zampa takes us inside the daily life of one caregiver and explores the solutions to alleviate the strain.
We're in Connecticut, speaking with Janet Riccitelli, who's caring for her husband, Mike. It's lunchtime in the Riccitelli household. Salami sandwiches. Mike just returned from a walk. He walks 5 miles a day now. It would be 10 if it were up to him.
Walking is really the only thing that really brings him great joy.
The two met in 2008, both divorced with kids.
We've had a really nice life, worked hard, did a little traveling, saved for retirement, and then boom, we, have the diagnosis.
Frontotemporal dementia, a rare brain disease that affects personality, language, and movement.
He dresses different. His signature is different. Recently, he's had been trouble putting his left shoe on. I said I wasn't gonna cry. He was a partner in everything we did.
So it sort of upended some of your plans.
All our plans. All our plans. We don't qualify for any kind of financial assistance, and we have a little money, but that money will be gone very quickly.
What do you feel like you need?
You need a book that says, number one, do this, number two, do that. I think there's got to be some change with what the government supports in, say, home care.
Organizations like AARP are trying to get more assistance for caregivers. Nancy Lamont is the nonprofit's chief advocacy and engagement officer.
We are very uneven in our support for family caregivers.
Lamont says additional funds are being pumped into telehealth systems and respite care in many states, and the federal government is now paying healthcare providers to train caregivers.
We probably don't want a healthcare system with training just through YouTube.
But she also says caregiving's not for everyone.
Can you tell them who all these people are here?
Janet is set on Mike staying home as long as possible, but Janet openly speaks about the inevitable looming over everything.
You seem so calm and collected talking about
the end.
What is it like to speak in those terms?
I cry a lot. I don't think about the end often. Every once in a while, it's like, okay, what's your plan gonna be? And so, there's no playbook with this.
Mike's playbook? Keep walking with the friend he cherishes and a partner he loves.
It just shows in different ways at different times, but yeah, no doubt in my mind that he still loves me.
You can find caregiver support by going to the National Council on Aging's website, ncoa.org.
Up next, a little girl took her personal experience with a blood disorder and put it on paper.
These are my sickle cells and these are normal sickle cells. I have both of them, but sometimes they strike.
We check out the inspiring book she wrote about living with sickle cell disease. A little girl with sickle cell disease decided to take control of her own story.
Simi White was inspired to write a book to help kids and adults understand her condition.
Reporter Natisha Lance speaks to this young author about her journey.
Take a look at your throat, please. Can you say, ah?
6-year-old Simi White has a special relationship with her nurse, Courtney.
So Miss Simi is one of my very, very, very favorite patients.
They've gotten to know each other well over the past 3 years at St. Jude Clinic in Charlotte.
What did you eat at your celebration? Did you eat some cake?
Simi was born with sickle cell anemia. It's a genetic disease that turns her normally shaped red blood cells into a sickle shape, when stressed by a cold or infection.
They can stick together, they become really sticky, and those form little, what I tell them are traffic jams in the vessels.
Simi says she remembers one episode from a couple years ago.
I couldn't even move my arm, so I had to go to the hospital, and it's super scary.
Sickle cell is not curable, but it is manageable.
We have drugs now that we didn't have in the distant past, like hydroxyurea, that has been shown time and time again to prolong life, prevent pain, prevent complications from sickle cell disease.
A lot of different colors in here, Simi.
Overall, Simi is an outgoing 6-year-old, bursting with personality and energy.
We are lucky because she's doing well. She is growing up well, great in school. We're continuing to help her grow and understand her sickle cell.
Part of that education came from writing a children's book, Life Just Like You, Life with Sickle Cell Anemia.
This book kind of explains sickle cell in a way that a child will understand.
These are my sickle cells, and these are normal sickle cells. I have both of them, but sometimes they strike.
The book helps Simi and her mom explain sickle cell to family, friends, and teachers.
Sickle cell does not cripple our babies at all. They are fully capable of doing everything else that children without sickle cell disease have. They just have to be more careful.
You can find Simi's book, Just Like You, Life with Sickle Cell Anemia, on Amazon. And she's so knowledgeable about sickle cell and what she's going through.
I love how she was explaining the book and everything. Yeah, it looks great. A good education lesson for a lot of people, too,
It sure
for sure.
is.
All right, that's it for us here on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus.
By the time I got back to his room, I walked in there and his arm was outstretched from the bed and he had already died. And I get choked up every time I think about it.
A nurse's regret puts her on a path to ensure no one dies alone.
We have an in-depth look at how her effort helping people pass peacefully now spans the globe.